Hello, thank you for watching my channel today. My name's Sarah. My channel is called Your True Shelf. It seems like such a long time since I've sat down and done a video like this because I've been vlogging for ages for the summer school readathon. So I thought it was time to do a haul because I haven't done a haul for ages and ages. I've built up quite a collection of books, so it is time to talk about them. Some of them, a couple of them I've mentioned already on other things, but doesn't matter. So the first one that I want to mention was a gift from Charlie Brooke. Several of these were gifts from Charlie. She's so kind and she often passes books on to me. This one is Read at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. So this is a book that I know a lot of people have read already. It was on the Women's Prize shortlist, long list, not sure. And so this, all I know about this one, and it's quite a small book, it's about like a girl who is having her 16th birthday and her mum, who was supposed to wear the dress for her 16th birthday that her daughter's now wearing, and then she had a teenage pregnancy and stuff like that. Yeah, I know it's about like class, identity, gender, sexuality, all that kind of stuff, and I'm really intrigued to read it because I've only had good things. The second book was also from Charlie, and this was on my wish list. It's really lovely to have it. It's Don't Touch My Hair by Dabiri. She is a black Irish woman who has written a socio-political history of race and racism through hair, basically. And I'm really intrigued to read this. It's a different angle to what I've read before. There's a different title in the States, can't remember what it's called, but it's not this, and a different cover. But yeah, it's really interesting. She's a professor, so a teaching fellow in the African department at SOAS, and a PhD researcher at Goldsmiths. So she's obviously very knowledgeable about her subject, and yeah, this one is a very intriguing read, which I'm looking forward to. The next one is a book of poetry that I treated myself to, which arrived this week. This was inspired by Morgan Long. He's an amazing booktuber. If you haven't watched her channel, it's incredible. Her videos are just some of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen. And she reads, she often is reading a Mary Oliver book of poetry, and whatever I've read of Mary Oliver's, I've always really found amazing. So I treated myself to one of her poetry collections, and this is called 1,000 Mornings. It's got a stunning cover, as you can see there. So the back says, whether studying the leaves of a tree or mourning her treasured dog Percy, Mary Oliver is beautifully open to the teachings contained within the smallest moments. In 1,000 Mornings, she explores with startling clarity, humour and kindness the mysteries of our daily experience. So it's only very little, but I'm really looking forward to reading it slowly and savouring it, and hopefully sort of doing some annotating as well. The next one is one that I had on my wish list, and then someone was giving a copy away at work. I just found a copy in the staff room, which was left where people leave their books. That was cool. And this is Platform 7 by Louise Doughty. So I read Apple Tree Yard, or I listened to Apple Tree Yard a couple of years ago and thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I loved the TV adaptation. So I was really looking forward to reading this. So it says, on Platform 7, the man on the bench thinks he's alone, as far away from the station staff as he can get, but he has company. Lisa Evans knows what he's about to do as she tries and fails to stop him walking toward the platform edge and the approaching train. She is desperate to understand what connects her to this man. After all, Lisa was the first of them to die. Ooh, that sounds good. So yeah, look forward to that. I know it's going to be gripping and really well written at the same time. The next one that I bought is one I got off eBay because I couldn't find it anywhere else. I think it's out of print at the moment. I saw this on Giselle Mills' channel, and her wrap-up made me really want to read it, so I bought it. And this is called The Wine of Astonishment by Earl Lovelace. This is set in the Caribbean and Trinidad. So it's about a man who is a tall, good-looking fighter, and he's strong, and he goes for some political leadership because him and the community are sick of how America treat Trinidad. And then it all starts to unravel and go really wrong. That's all I know. Another small book, but sounds like it really packs a punch. The next one is a book that I saw Bree Hill talk about, and I bought it again on eBay. And this one is called Passing by Nella Larsen. It's got a really beautiful cover. So this is about two women. They're both African American and they're both very light skinned. Claire passes for white. She chooses to pass for white, and Irene doesn't. Claire marries a white man who has no idea that she isn't white, and I think he's quite a racist as well. And Irene marries a black man, and they continue to live in this way until it says there's a chance encounter, which basically makes them confront their lies that they have told and secrets that they have buried. So when Bree talked about it, it sounded really, really good and very interesting. It was published in 1929. I think it was quite a scandalous book at the time. And so, yeah, it's one that I'm really excited to read soon. The next one is one that I bought new, and this is one that I'm really interested in, the topic. And this is I'm Not Your Baby Mother by Candice Brathwaite. So this is a book about being a black mother. So Candice noticed that when she was pregnant with her first child, and she was looking through all of the kind of baby literature and magazines and everything that you kind of look through, that there was a massive underrepresentation of black mothers. So she started to research it more, and she found out things like black mothers are 5 times more likely to die in childbirth than white mothers. And this is her discussion of the topic. So as a mother and someone who works in healthcare, I find this super interesting and something that I hadn't particularly thought about in my own ignorance. And so I really want to read this and find out her experience of what it's like to be a black British mother. So I'm very interested in this one. And I also absolutely love the colour scheme as well. I have 2 more which Charlie sent me. They are the little tiny Penguin Modern Classics books, and I don't know what they're about, so I shall have a look whilst I hold them up. So the first one is Shirley Jackson, The Missing Girl. It's absolutely tiny. It looks like it might be 3 stories. The Missing Girl, Journey with a Lady, and Nightmare. I've never read any Shirley Jackson before, but I hear her being talked about a lot on BookTube. And it just says on the back, malice, deception and creeping dread lie beneath the surface of ordinary American life in these miniature masterworks. And then the next one is The Lady in the Looking Glass by Virginia Woolf. So the only Virginia Woolf I've read is Mrs. Dalloway. I gave that 5 stars. I really liked it. This, I think, is also some short stories. Let me see. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short stories. So again, I'm sure I'll really enjoy those. And it's really nice sometimes to have just a little book that you can use as like to break up other books when you're just in the mood something smaller. So that's really nice. And thank you again, Charlie, so much. So next I have 3 more books about race. So the first one is one that I'm a bit embarrassed I haven't read because everybody's read it and says it's like a seminal text that we should be reading, and it's Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Reni, Eddo-Lodge. This is basically how to talk about race and understand race relations in Britain. And like I say, I'm embarrassed that I haven't read it yet because I should have read it when it came out and didn't. I've then got 2 more. So the first one is They Can't Kill Us All by Wesley Lowery, the story of Black Lives Matter. So this is the story of the birth of a movement from the award-winning journalist who reported at the heart of it. Based on over a year of on-the-ground reporting, it's an unprecedented portrait of the reality of police violence and endemic racism in America and those trying to combat it. So again, one that I was very interested to read because of all the amazing work that the Black Lives Matter movement are doing, and I'm supporting them with donations, and I really wanted to hear about the history of the movement. And then the last one, which looks like, which I didn't realise when I bought it, but it's basically something that is for a whole month, and there's a day for every month, with some exercises and different things in it as well, and reflections that you can do. So this is a really cool idea, and this is Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad. How to recognise your privilege, combat racism and change the world. So basically this is aimed at white people as a resource to challenge white supremacy, and each day, so if you just have a look, so it's got like day 2, for instance, it's got some paragraphs about what to learn about, and then it's got some reflective journaling prompts. So like, how does white fragility show up during conversations about race, describe your most visceral memory of experiencing white fragility. Have you weaponized your fragility against BIPOC through, for example, calling the authorities, crying or claiming you've been harmed? How do you feel when you hear the words white people? So yeah, it's really good how it makes you reflect on things which might be something that you want to shy away from or not think about too much or get really sensitive about, which is obviously what white fragility is. I've learnt so much from the reading that I've done about white fragility and the videos I've watched from different booktubers, like black booktubers, and I've learned so much in the last few months, and I obviously want to continue that journey. And yeah, so that's my last book I've hauled, I think. Pretty sure that's the last one. Yeah, I think so. Oh, let me just think, have I bought anything else on my phone? Yes. Right, I'm going to have to turn the camera off to have a look at my phone. No, I can go and get my Kindle. Bear with, hold on. Firstly, can I just say how pretty is my Kindle? It's so pretty. Right, so I'm just going to have a look, because I always forget to tell you what Audible and ebooks I have read. So, bear with. Okay. So the first book that I bought on Kindle is The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. So this is the Broken Earth trilogy. I think it's about, hold on. I think it's about a world where lots of natural disasters happen, and there's certain groups of people who can withstand the natural disasters or manipulate them or something. I'm actually not that sure. I can't find the synopsis by looking on my Kindle. But I've seen so many people talk about this series and rave about it that I saw it was on the daily deal on Kindle, and I was like, right, I'm trying it because everyone's talking about how much they love it. So that was that one. Okay, the second book that I bought on Kindle is Quantum Theory Cannot Hurt You by Marcus Chown. That has been on my wish list for so many years. It's a book about quantum theory, but presented in a kind of like an idiot's guide way. And I'm really interested in quantum theory, but I don't know much about it at all. So I felt like I never wanted to pick up a quantum physics book. But this has made it really user-friendly, and it's kind of an introductory guide for beginners. So I've wanted it for ages, and I've now bought it. I bought Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, and again, I'm not 100% sure what it's about. It's really annoying that I can't actually look at the synopsis right now. But lots of people I've read and loved it, and so I wanted to read it for that reason. I bought Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is about two authors. One is a literary author, one is a maybe romance or something author, and both of them have writer's block, and they basically decide they're going to swap genres and see who can write a bestseller in the quickest time. That's all I remember about that one. I got Sweet Sorrow by David Nicholls, which again I can't actually remember anything about, but I like David Nicholls' work. I've had some good stuff about it on BookTube, and so I got it. Okay, so found it. Right, so one life-changing summer, Charlie meets Fran. Charlie is the kind of boy you don't remember in the school photo. His exams have not gone well. At home he's looking after his father, and surely it should be the other way round. And if he thinks about the future at all is with a kind of dread. Then Fran Fisher bursts into his life and Charlie begins to hope. But if Charlie wants to be with Fran, he must take on a challenge that could lose him the respect of his friends and require him to become a different person. He must join the company. And if the company sounds like a cult, the truth is even more appalling. The price of hope, it seems, is Shakespeare. Okay, so this thing is like a coming-of-age story. And then the final book that I read... Sorry, the final book that I bought was Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I think everybody's heard a whole lot about this book, and so I don't feel like I need to give a synopsis, but I've heard, again, loads and loads of good things, and so I bought it. It was actually unbelievably on the daily deal, and I got it for 99p, which is amazing. So yeah, so that is everything that I've bought since my last haul, so it's quite a lot. Stuff that I'm really excited about and really looking forward to. Tell me what you've been buying, what's the thing you're really looking forward to reading, tell me if you've read any of those books and what you thought, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.